Hey folks, and welcome to another video from A Plain Truth. I want to give you an update what's going on here out in California. There's a tale of two stories going on. Well, there's many stories going on. But here you see the fires that have started. Whether this is accurate or not, I don't know. But we are hearing reports of just spot fires, 100 acres, 50 acres. So all of these are being reported, and as we'll get into, they're doing the blame game on the winds, and also the arsons, the loan, arson, all up and down. So we'll show you that as well. But what's interesting about the fires here, they're just escaping Nevada. They just decided, hey, you know what? We're going to start all these fires. And by the way, Canada, no, you'll have a few, but you're not going to have anything like we got. We'll stop in Mexico too, yeah. That's where we'll stop. Okay. So we'll only make the fires not in Nevada. We'll nail California. We'll nail Oregon. We'll go up to Washington, Idaho, Dakota. We'll go, not in here. We're not going to burn here. We're not going to burn here, or over in here. But everywhere else we're going to burn. I mean, this makes no sense at all if you're talking about forest fires. And they prepped it all with that lightning show to show that to put in your mind that these fires could be started by lightning. And make no mistake, folks, this is a pandemic just like the faux Karen virus, whatever. It's all part of the agenda in executing their grand design, as they call it. So here's a beer can, kombucha actually, controlled burn with cayenne, turmeric, all the stuff to get you all heated up. This is an actual drink. And once again, we're seeing just photo evidence of directed energy weapons. Here's your beam coming down. And the way you can see it is when the smoke and the ground and the dust and the acidification gets up, it excites the molecules of the dust particles, and that's how you can see the beams. You see it's within the smoky range. Otherwise, it can be invisible. And the other thing, too, is they're starting them from underground. That's how they can hit a house by house. Doesn't have to be from a beam above. A lot of people reporting fires started from the ground, from inside the house. Now, check out this. This is somewhere up in Oregon. I don't have the exact location, but you can see it's a pretty populous town. And you can look at the vortex energy. I want you to look at, they call it the fire NATO. But this is the first time we've seen it over suburbs or city areas. Here, take a look at this. And you can see it spinning clockwise. And see the turbo, see how it's imploding? See how it's like a tornado? It concentrates energy and directs it down. And you see the embers? Those could be all programmable nanobots that are being dispersed around the area. But it's a big directed energy that's being focused in a certain area. And you can see, look up above, that big cumulus smoke that's spiraling up. That's the cold and hot plasma being activated. Crazy, right? And the other thing to be really clear out here, not clear out in California as we are, we're still smoked in. It's a little lighter today. I can actually see some pale, possible fades of blue up here in the sky, but it's much brighter today. But again, there's no smoky smell. There's no smoky taste. It doesn't, this lady's reporting, Miss Gilbert, actually my campfire leave much more of a lasting residue of burnt organic materials, aka wood, on my clothing than the nano haze. Nano haze is a good term. Chem fog is a good term, but I like nano haze too because they are using small dust. You go outside and you see these micro dust squares of particulate matter that's being dropped in with all this as well. People say they got ash on their car. No, this is nano dust. They're terraforming the earth, they're terraforming us, they're terraforming everything with this stuff. So they're coming out with the blame game now. This is in Lynn, Oregon, West Lynn, Oregon, saying somebody dropped a bucket full of flammable liquids. Here's someone stopped and got out of her car, intercepted her with a bag of vegetation. She was setting a dumpster on fire. So I guess this is saying she has something in her hand. Here's an incident report that says human. They're setting the table. Here's a guy laying in the street, and all he has in his hands is matches, white guy. 50 acres he owns, saw somebody trying to start a fire. I mean, anybody can, oh, here's a guy getting on the bus, intentionally starting. I mean, these are all allegations. Could be a stock photo of anything. They got to do the blame game to get people to think that it was something other than directed energy weapons and underground lightning and an attack on the people of this earth that we're being under attack, and Oregon's being hit very, very hard right now. But this might be just big time propaganda here. So this is in southern Oregon. from Ashland, Medford, up to Bend, if you know that area at all, right next to Highway 5, right where they're planning to putting in the Mega Trains 2050. Coinky dinkies again. So there's a helicopter flyby, and you can see 5 in the background, Highway 5 going north and south in southern Oregon. I believe that's right below Medford, above Ashland here. You see, there's some farm crops that are fine, and others, the house completely destroyed, and somehow the demarcation at the creek, but the freeway was the other demarcation. But there's some grass area in the front that didn't get burned, but grass areas other places did. Homes got torched here, right next to the freeway. Right next to the freeway. So where did all the burning material come to torch the homes? How did the homes get torched right next to the freeway? Oh, and the other side's fine. I mean, this we're seeing over and over again. See, that house is torched, yet the grass is still green. The trees are still there. Right next to the freeway. How did the fire get in there? Think about the burn pattern of burning this house down. How did it get in there? Did it go along tree line? No. Did it go across the grass? No. Did it come from the freeway? No. How did it get in there if it was not directed energy? And again, they can target anywhere they want by going underground with underground lightning and setting it ablaze from underground and creating it. And then with the smart dust, the aluminum, all the aluminum particulate matters in the smart dust that's being sprayed over and over, the desiccants that cause them to be combustible. Everybody, anywhere, can be combustible because we're all uptaking this nanodust, smart dust, chem dust, chem fog. All these fogs they're laying in on us, they all have nanoparticulate matters in them. Then they can just target wherever they want. And you see some areas are fine, some areas are not. So it makes it appear like everything's on fire, but that's not the case. And as I've talked to a bunch of people in Santa Rosa whose homes didn't get burned down, they felt horrible when their houses were okay and their neighbors were all torched out. And they were like, they felt guilty for keeping their homes. And others, I mean, how did it go right around? How did it decide? I remember back in Redding, the fires, like car fires, and they had the boats on the water. Some boats were torched, others were fine. The wooden deck was fine, but the boats were torched on the water. Again, the technology is extremely, extremely sophisticated. All right, now check this out. This is, I think it's right by Happy Valley, if I'm not mistaken. That's another name for these areas. But check out this video coming up where you can see, and the white you see, where you see the white phosphorus, that's another telltale indication of directed energy. See that white in the driveway there? See the white, the phosphorus white patches? Those are not fire retardants. You'll see what fire retardant looks like in a minute here. But those are another signature pattern we saw at the Santa Rosa Sonoma fires. We saw up in the Paradise, the white phosphorus around the torching. It got white hot. And I'll have to look up what the temperatures of white hot means. But again, here's Highway 5, again between Medford and Ashland, right by Grants Pass. This may be the entrance to Grants Pass. But how does it get the ball field on a perfect line like that, or ball field or a farm like that? And again, the white phosphorus here everywhere. Like explosions. They were like explosions. And then you go across, let's see, Hyatt down there. I know that area. Yeah, this is right near Happy Valley. Boom, gone. Boom, fine. That's up on a hill there. Down below, torched. Yeah, you see how there's dirt? There's a lot of dirt. I mean, how does the fires burn? How does it get these huge power of fires? You know, oh, it saved the Gwen Tower there. It looked like it went right around the Gwen Tower. Didn't touch that. Look at this community. Look at the first house. It's fine. Trees fine. And then everything else gutted. It's like a mobile home park. Everything else is gutted except the first house. How does that happen? How do the trees stay fine with none of this getting burned at all? Here's your white phosphorus again. This is right next to Highway 5. That's the Eel River there. Or the Klamath, sorry. Or no, but the devastation goes all up and down. You see 5 to the right up there. Cars are all backed up. See, this is one side. I think this is Talent. One side of the freeway or the road there is absolutely decimated. The other side is absolutely fine. Look at the holes in the roofs. How did they burn through the roof and keep the sidings up? And then look at, here's your fire retardant. You want to see what fire retardant, you see on the left there? That's when they drop fire retardant. It's that red. It's not the white phosphorus. But look at all these homes. Look at the ones in the back all fine there. Those look like mobile homes. and then all of these are torched. Oh, those are fine. 1, 2, 3. Those are fine, but everything on both sides. Oh, that one in the middle is fine. There's a couple of ones that are still there. Why? How? How can they hit one and not the other? How can they burn these to the ground? Iron, porcelain. Think of bathtubs made of iron. Think of tabletops, granite. Think of fireplaces that hold fire, and the fireplaces are all gone. Toast. Dustified. What can do that? A fire melting, a forest fire that can hit one area and not another? We're under attack, folks. This is genocide. This is the Agenda 21, biodiversity, getting them out of the zones they don't want them in, and you're not going to be able to move back in. You're not going to be able to afford to, and they're not going to let you. Just like they're doing in Paradise. They say if you don't build by the end of this year, you don't have a building started, you do not get to build. End of building up in Paradise. Normal for everybody to recognize what a suburb looks like. Cul-de-sac in one way, houses all around, shopping mall down the mile two away. And how do they know to hit these houses and not those houses? Why was Mr. Lucky here okay here and here, but not here and here? Or Miss Lucky, unlucky? Show this to the fire captains, the fire departments. Ask them to explain it, please. They have no explanation. They've never seen it before either. And just like we saw the picture of the face of the plumes coming out of the imagery of 9/11, we see again the same type of evilness possibly in the clouds as well. Are they able to create this? Was this photoshopped? I don't think so. I've seen it in too many different arenas. And yes, they can formate the clouds in the directions they want. They've studied it for generations with the best and the brightest. The same exact patterns we're seeing are occurring over and over that we saw 2 years ago. 1 minute here, next minute gone, the all motel. And notice the cars dustified, propane tank, shed roof, just dustified. This is in the countryside too, along the water. All gone. Here's this right here. You can get a reference to where that was.